What are the best USB mics and XLR mics for you? Not just in general, but for you. That is what we are going to dive into today. I've got a very special guest with me, my co-host for today, Doc Rock. Before we get there, I just want to give you the lowdown of exactly what you're going to learn today. I saw throughout the countdown timer so many people being like, yes, I need this information. And Doc said recently something that I thought was very important, and the angle that we're taking in this stream today, because he was talked about the fact that depending on your voice, you might find a better mic for you. So there's no one size fits all when it comes to audio, but it is one of the trickiest things to drill down to decide on. So we're gonna try and make it as simple as possible for you today to decide which mic is right for you. And so we'll go over the different types of mics just so you understand what you're looking at when it comes to mic choices. And then we will talk about which, like if your voice is higher or lower, which mics you might lean towards and choose and have better choice of. And then we'll dive into a comparison. Doc has some mics over on his end. I have some mics over here on this end. And so we're going to just go through those so you can hear different sound qualities from different mics. Now, we don't have all the mics in the entire world. We have some select choices that we think will be a good option for you. So if you're ready to get into it, type me in the comments. If you're new, I would love to meet you. And if you are new, then you don't know me. I'm Lewitt Petrucci from Live Streaming Pros, where we help you create professional live video that is uniquely you. And I'm super excited to bring on my good friend Doc Rock in the house, ready to rock and roll this audio talk. Hey.
Wait, I just decided that blue light over there is tad bit strong.
He's like, wait a second.
I was like, I look like I was glowing Smurf. Hey, Papa Smurf here. Anyway.
We can call you Papa Smurf.
What's happening, peoples?
Hey, Doc.
See you guys. Aloha, everyone.
If you guys don't know Doc, he is, he's a former DJ, so perfect for talking about audio, right? I mean, radio host. DJ radio host is all the same thing to me.
Well, no, I did both.
You did both. Okay, that's why it's in my head then.
Wax DJ and on-air personality is what we say, because the guys that spin wax hate the fact that radio guys are called DJs, because we never actually play. We don't play disc. You play cartridges, and then now you play, what is the word? You play sound files. You just press a button. So, yeah, it was always a point of contention. Let's put it that way.
I love it. So, Doc, let's
yes,
dive into this. Real quick, I know that people are going to have a ton of questions. So if you do have questions, please type Q in front of your question. That will help us gather those up and make sure that we tackle them. If you're watching live, you get to take part in Q&As. If you're watching the replay, we'll chop out the Q&A so that you can get just the information you need quickly, easily. But if you want to participate in Q&As, you got to join us live. That's the thing. Oh, he's in two places at once. He's in the chat room and he's right here with me. So, yes, you were right. Doc knows a lot about a lot. He does, which is why I love having him on the show.
I just wanted to make sure I can catch questions fast in case I don't want to miss anything. And then I got my notes so that I can be normal on your show instead of scatterbrained like myself.
I'll try and keep you on track. So speaking of
a lot of blue. Sorry, I'm just.
No, he's he's trying to not be Smurf.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
I liked Papa Smurf.
It was a little glowy.
So let's talk about what types of mics first and foremost. Let's lay the land here, because not every mic is made the same. Can you break it down for the audience? What different types of mics are out there and what they mean and why they would want to use them versus a different kind?
Okay, so forgive me, if you will. I wanted to start with something I find is far more important.
Oh.
But we'll get to the mic.
I love it. Okay, yes, let's do it.
I think this point goes so well missed on people, and it's funny because what you hear in your head, right, and what you hear in a recording is so drastically different. Okay, and the reason, there's a huge reason for it, and somehow people don't get it. The reason why a lot of people say I do not like the sound of my voice is because when you hear it in the recording, you don't hear it the way you hear it sonically inside of your melon. Okay, inside, say when you say you're talking out, say in a room by yourself, and you're venting and you're talking smack about someone, whatever. You are hearing the air sound, the sound that comes out of your face, moves around the room like everyone else hears it, but you're also hearing the bone conduction, which, you know, happens inside the nugget. So you have a dope remix going on. You sound deeper, you sound fuller, you sound like compression, if you will. When you hear a mic with and without compression, that's what you're hearing. You're hearing your bone vibration. Yes, Paul is on it. Paul's my dude because he got purple hair. You know how we do. So, yeah, and I think that messes people up because then they go on and go through all of these mics because you're trying to get to that. You can't do it. It's impossible, so just get over that part right away.
I love that you started with that. Yeah, it's so important. I remember when I first started doing videos and live streams back in 2005, I would hear myself being edited or hear a replay of a live, and I would be like, ugh. And we all have that reaction, like, ugh, who is that? So not me.
And you know what's funny? You have a person who you listen to, and you like, you know, this guy has good content, or, you know, they're a good speaker, but I can't really listen to them because their voice doesn't resonate with me. That person probably sounds more like you when you hear yourself in a recording.
Yeah.
You don't realize it. And it could be a male or female, it could be completely opposite sex, everything. It's just because we have frequencies, right? And again, if you were to put that frequency in like a frequency checker and you put yourself in a frequency, you're probably similar. So the same reason why you hate them is probably why, unless it's a speech tick, which is different.
I used to call the other girl the evil. Well, I used to go by Callie Lewis at that point, but I was like, that's evil Callie.
So yeah, just so you get that squared away, like I don't want people to get really hung up on the fact that they can't understand themselves. Tech coach, what the heck was that?
Those are our emotes, Abby Love.
I got it.
It comes through with text.
That just now I see it. Never mind. Anyway, I have ADD, XD, Y, PhD, XQR, XLR. So don't do that. Okay. Anyway, so your basic types of microphones are going to be a dynamic, such as this Podmic, or like this Samson Q2U, Shure SM7B, the new Shure MV7. Those are all dynamic mics. In theory, I wouldn't say everything in theory because the practice is different based on your space. Sound is according to airflow. So your space can drastically change the sound of even the best mics because all mics are affected by airflow. Okay, so those are all dynamics, and in theory, they're the best for untreated rooms or rooms where there is ancillary sound coming from the next door neighbor, the kids, you know, traffic outside, all of the above. Last show with Lori and I, there just happened to be a dump truck that decided, hey, today's the pass by Lori's house. Like it just happens.
That, yeah. And and here's the thing, in my environment, since we're talking about environments, I actually have windows that I open up a lot, and I'm just short enough to not be able to latch it fully without a ladder or a step stool. And so I get lazy and I don't latch that because I like to open my windows, yes, even in the winter. And so that's my fault, right? And so there's a lot that you can do. Should open it in the winter.
As you should open the windows. Yeah, you should, because you gotta let the air flow. It's smart.
Totally.
It's a smart move.
But you know that like me being lazy is often the killer, and you can do things in your environment to make sure that your environment is better for your sound. If I had closed my windows and latched them properly.
Do you have a little step thingy?
I have a big step thingy, which is why I get lazy, because it's like, I have to carry that all around the house. Around the 800 square foot.
Let me explain something to you. I'm going to see if I can find a place that would have it in Portland. But we have here these Japanese stools. They fold down to this. And when you just open it, it pops open. It can hold like 300 pounds, but it's flat when you put it away.
Seriously?
And then when you
I had like a little step stool, but it was like this, you know.
Yeah, these things are dope because you can get probably like a foot and a half. You just pop it open, you stand on it, and it can hold me. I know it can hold like 3 of you, so no problem. And then when you're done, you just pick it back up, and it's completely flat. Like, it's so cool. Like,
That's
I have one
awesome.
of those because my boss is 4'11".
Oh, wow.
And I get sick of having to go get stuff because she can't reach it.
Yeah,
I'm like, man,
totally.
I'm watching Manchester United. Leave me alone. Okay, anyway, so the next one would be a condenser mic. It's normally heard of as, I guess primarily we hear them as large diaphragm condensers, but there are various forms of condenser microphone. Condenser microphones are extra sensitive for the most part. Now, there has been some technologies that have allowed dynamic mics to step into the range of sensitivity with condenser microphones, but they normally just have a bigger, fuller sound, and it's because they're a little bit more conductive. Condenser microphones would normally use a 48-volt phantom power, and so with the size of the element, we'll call it the element not to confuse you, and the electricity, they just tend to have a lot more boom, and they're very, very good, but not conducive to noisy places because they are sensitive. So they pick up, various outside noises. That's normally what you will see in, what are some good condensers? Well, like my King B is a condenser mic.
So basically, the pro is that they have that boom and that good voice effect, but the con is a noisy environment is not going to do it well, right?
Normally condensers are going to be in your kind of studios and stuff like that because they know that they're coming at it with a completely quiet room.
Yeah.
So
lots of
that's the
soundproofing,
reason
all
why
that.
you normally see them. And yeah, that's also the reason why, even though there's far better mics than the Shure SM7B, it tends to be the most popular among podcasts for two reasons. One is it has that really full condenser sound in that standard dynamic body, but also most people are just for the eye candy. Let's be honest. We're not going to, fake anyone.
And so then the first one was dynamic, and
Yes.
then the condenser. Then there's the lavalier, which I hate for studio environments because I have to put it on and I have to take it off. And you guys, when I say I'm lazy, I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just that I think everybody is. I see this as a consistent issue, which is why we teach the push button simple production, a party on switch to turn everything on. Like, my goal is to make sure you don't have to do a lot. You just set up, you turn a button on and you're ready to go. Lavaliers, for me, are good for certain situations for sure, but in a studio or a desk studio environment, I certainly don't love them as an option, but for like yoga, fitness, that kind of thing. So I kind of took over. I'll let you flesh that out.
No, you're doing correct because I agree. Like, one of the things I hated about television production or even video production in general was stringing lavaliers. Like, it's just a pain in the butt. And then it was also the awkward moment of, okay, I have to string a lavalier on a female. I got to tell her to hide the microphone in betwixt the girl parts. And then
so many stories from people having to mic me up. Oh, but they're always so like professional about it. But it's an awkward moment.
It's very awkward when you're trying to be professional, and then early in the career I would do a lot with music people, right?
Yeah.
And then so you would get these music people or dancers, and they're just being funny because they can tell you're a little kid and you're awkward. And they're like, no, can you just put it in? No, I'm not putting it in there, lady. You put it in. I'm like, And I was like a little kid, so like I was super nervous. And yeah, so again, stringing lavaliers just isn't fun. And then you also have certain people, no matter, and you guys know who you are. If you go to the hospital and you get your blood drawn and they put the tape immediately comes off. There's other people, when you put the tape, it's like literally peeling a layer of paint. It's so hard to get off. Mm-hmm. And then so with lavalier tape, it just always doesn't work. And we would use medical tape and other stuff, and some people just will not stick to them. Like, for whatever reason, they're Teflon or something. So yeah, lavaliers
what my
can
favorite
be problematic.
Is for that kind of stuff is men's grooming. Toupee tape. I know, it's weird.
What are you trying to say, LP? Like, I'm just saying, like, what are you trying to say?
I've never bought toupee tape for any good reason, but it does like fix wardrobe issues. It's great for sticking mics on. it can be one of those things that it gets too tight, too sticky, and then you're like,
Yeah.
ow! But it's really strong, is my point. Anyway,
I learned
random tidbit.
from my ex-girlfriend the best thing to use was pasties.
Yeah,
So
those work too.
Like I remember I walked into the store one day, I'm like, yo, I need to buy some pasties and I need them in different skin colors. And people were looking at me like, what? I'm like, yo, I do video production. They're like, oh, okay, go ahead, sir. And they're like, could I interest you in these size 13 pumps? And I was like, not today. So,
But I don't think you said the good news is, the good news for, labs is that you can do things like fitness type aerobic kind of exercises. You're getting
anytime
it
you're
close.
moving.
Yeah.
Anytime you're moving,
Moving.
fitness is good too, but if you gotta have your hands really busy and you might bang the microphone,
Yeah.
I think it's better.
There's always
for instance, I think it's better
country
than a shotgun. I think most people aren't going to buy the right shotgun that's designed for closed environments. Most people buy shotguns that are designed for outside environments. So they are more sensitive. And so what you hear is a lot of air between yourself and the shotgun. Like if you're buying an $1,800 Sennheiser made for, inside Oprah recordings, fine. Nobody buys that though. Everyone buys a $300 one, and then they were like, "Well, why does my Macintosh making so much noise?"
Right. Yes.
So
if you're doing exercise or if you're moving, if you've got a whiteboard or a second set that you're kind of moving in between, that can be super, super helpful. So, okay, anything else on labs before we move on to the next one?
One other good thing about labs that goes a lot sort of misrepresented. Technically, a headset mic is a lav mic. It's basically the same concept, but they're very good. It's probably better because you don't have to string them. You literally put it on. But if you're going to go all the way in, like the DP or Countryman or something. They're probably like $600 to $800. But that's what you see the really high end presenters using, and that's the DP or the Countryman, and the sound is beautiful.
Yes. Sennheisers are cheaper than the Countrymans by slightly, but
yes,
both are really good. Okay, so we're going to talk about the last type of mic, being the shotgun, and then I do want to tackle a few questions just that are relevant to this conversation before we move on into the demo, the comparison. Shotguns. This is what I'm using.
Okay, so to be honest, I'm not a fan of shotties, again, because most people buy shotties that are made for outside and not shotties that are made for inside because there's a drastic price difference.
So the Rode NTG4 Plus that I'm using, would you say is
it's
an
technically
insider?
made for outside, but that is one of the better low-end shotties, okay?
Right.
But what happens with a shotty that most people don't understand, and you can test it yourself, it's going to sound funny when you do it, but if you put it, say, within 5 or 6 inches of your face and then listen to the fullness of the sound and then put it where you have it, and that's just signal to noise ratio. Like the amount of air between yourself and the condenser or the diaphragm, the element, again, I'll stick to the right terminology, allows you to pick up extra reverberation. Now you have brick, which normally is problematic, but then you're carpeted, right? And I'm sure you have drapes on your curtains. Actually, I just saw
light
them.
ones,
but they bounce sound a little bit. They don't necessarily have to be heavy. So some of that stuff is helping. Do you have a sock on that?
I do.
Shotgun. Okay, that also
and
is
what
going
he
to help.
means by that is this: it's not a bare mic; it's got a sock on it.
Yeah, which is why outside you see always dead cat, and dead cat is very good for wind and stuff, but it also helps deaden some of that unnecessary air moving around. Air is constantly moving around. If you don't believe it, just puff a little bit of smoke. Not that kind. Come on. I know what you're thinking. And just watch it move around the room, and you can kind of know how your air circulates in your room.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
Those are all reflections that are very much picked up on the mic. So it's just a personal thing for me. I personally am not a fan of shotties. Now, when I was doing sound for picture, that's all I had. I had a gigantic stick and a shotty and a Naga recorder, a big old set of headphones, and I'm running around chasing actors. that's what it's for.
Right.
You know?
And the reason I like it is that I don't want a boom arm in my shot. I don't want my mic in my shot. I don't want anything on the desk because I hit the desk a lot and I'm constantly, doing this and moving things and touching the desk while I'm live, which causes that noise to go into the mic if you have it just setting on the mic, on the desk, kind of like so. So if I were using this mic right now and I did this, you would hear that, and you don't want to hear that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm very cognizant. I'm very cognizant of banging the desk only because radio for years, right? It was always that way. You can't really bang the desk. I want to, but I don't. So yeah, and again, the way yours is set up right now, you don't have too much of an airy sound. You have some other things that are helping you with that. Yeah. Most people, beginners, they don't know how to do that.
Right.
They don't set their stuff
Which is what
properly.
we help you with in the studio workshop, guys.
If you're going to buy one, make sure you do it correctly. If you're
Yes.
going to buy one and use it wrong, it's just like the people that buy like a $150,000 Porsche and drive under the speed limit in the left lane.
I tweeted this the other day and I was like, it's very nerve-wracking when I'm going faster than like a Porsche. This is nerve-wracking because I'm not speeding and they're going really slow. Like, what's happening right now?
Oh.
All right, so there are a couple of questions, namely about the Yeti being like...
That's my team messing with me.
I don't think so, actually. I think several people asked about the Yeti. So, your thoughts on the Yeti before we move on.
Okay, so we got to talk about Yeti. Why you do this to me?
Oh, I know. I knew it was a sore point, and I've moved past the Yeti as well. Like, I think that Blue makes fantastic products.
Here,
but
let me say everything I need to say about the Yeti. So the Yeti microphone is a fantastic.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Whoops.
All right. So here's a long and short end of a Yeti. If you own a Yeti that was bought prior to Logitech buying them out, you probably have a fairly decent low-end microphone. If you bought a Yeti after Logitech bought them out, which I think is like circa 2013, 2014, don't correct me on it, you can Google it yourself, you probably have a $10 mic posed as a $250 mic or $150 mic, depending on which Yeti you bought. And people that bought them are in love with them because they bought them. But the truth be told, they're not very good microphones. They have a lot of problems. The biggest
what did Logitech
one
do to change? What did they change?
Whenever a large company conglomerate like that comes in and buys something like the licensing for the Yeti from Blue, right?
Cost.
Blue makes very high-end, delicious microphones. Blue Bottle is in every recording studio in the planet. Mm-hmm. Like they're delicious. Like some Blue mics are in the $7,000-$8,000 range, right? They're just gorgeous. They thought, well, we're going to take that lineage of the Blue name, we're going to buy it for a couple of $1,000,000, and then we're going to go get it manufactured at Logi and make really crappy Super Bowl commercials and basically sell you a $10 mic dressed up under the name brand. Imagine if I bought the licensing to put Louis Vuitton on the microphone. A whole bunch of folks would buy it just because it says Louis, and I can make that microphone anything. That Yeti is no better than a 15 microphone, which is actually sounds better, to be honest with you. So it's just one of those things, and I'm sorry you bought it. It's not your fault. You did what everybody else did. They listened to Best Buy. They listened to the industry. The industry does that for certain things.
Yeah, that's true.
It just is what it is. It's the industry that we're in. That happened with how many people broke phones because they bought cases that were designed to protect the phone like an OtterBox, but it was $20, where the OtterBox is $80. When you drop your phone, you discover you should have spent the $60.
Yeah. Oftentimes it's worth the more expensive, right? Especially when it comes to audio, because it's the most important part of your videos.
Holla back. Was that Mel who said she got a Yeti?
Yeah, she has an old one and a newer one. Definite difference.
Yeah, no, there is. You can tell the build quality, like it's all there. And again, I don't blame anyone. Just as soon as you can, upgrade. I'm sorry. I just don't want to. I don't want to beat that dead horse. We get a lot of people that get feelings about their equipment. Don't get feelings about your equipment. They're tools, and there will be something better than the SM7B soon. And when it is, that would be it. And everybody would just, okay, put the old SM7B away. Now, that thing has lineage since the 1930s, which is why it sounds so dope. It's been that build, that capsule, that what's inside there has been around literally since the 1930s. Like, it is an incredible microphone. So that's why it sounds so good. It has lineage.
Okay, so sorry to all of you. we're breaking this out. I hope this is super helpful, because what I wanted to do with today was to help you understand audio better. And of course, you all know, like, audio is not my strong suit. I don't have an ear for the fine-tuned qualities of, I can tell good audio from bad audio, but that's why I brought Doc on, because he knows audio really, really, really well. So, XLR versus USB. So there are two types
my favorite question.
Inputs. USB versus XLR. Talk about that. Pros, cons. Which one is better?
Okay, people. If you could plug an XLR cable, you can actually, just in a different format. There's such thing as known as an XLR 4-pin, and we use that in video to connect lights. If I plug a light in to a battery pack with an XLR 4-pin, the light comes on. If I plug that light in to a USB with the same power, the light comes on. If I plug that light into the socket, or the mains, British people, the light comes on. Why? Because it's just a connection. Period. Point blank. End of story. Okay? That's it. It's just a connection. However, Doc always has a however. The reason why I prefer XLR over USB, the connection doesn't let go. Very rarely, cable fall out, maybe. But other than that, XLR will not let go, because it's just a connection. Whereas USB has to go through circuitry on the computer that says, allow this to become an interface, and it will let go. The computer would just be like, hey, you know what? I don't feel like talking to you. Bye. And then you lost your mic. So it's just a more stable connection. 3 pins and a locking mechanism's not going to fall out if properly in.
Right.
That's it. That's the primary difference. So it's a myth that one sounds better than the other.
Yeah, so that has been a common thing with people. But in terms of XLR, then you do need an audio interface. You can't just plug and play into your computer and software. You need something like the Rodecaster Pro or a mixer of some kind, right? So you need something to be able to take that signal from XLR and put it into USB into the computer so that your software can read it or hear it. So those are, you have to decide extra money, or willing to go through the potential of USB failing on you.
Yes.
So next up is, before we get to the comparison, and I know that we're covering a lot. This is kind of a deep dive here, guys. We're going to compare, and I see a lot of questions about what about this mic and what about this mic? We might answer your question in this next segment and in the comparison. So before we get to the comparison, I want to cover who should buy what mic. Every voice is different based on room noise, of course, like we've talked about, but also based on your voice. Doc has a very deep radio voice. It's a beautiful voice, right? My voice is not high, but kind of mid-level. And so I want you to
midland voice, yes.
Yeah, I want you to walk me through how do you choose? There are all these options on the market. What specific mics should I choose if I have a deep voice versus a high voice?
So here's what's funny. The reason why I picked Podmics when I was getting ready to get into inviting guests to come into my podcast is it was a perfect dead center universal microphone that will do extremely well. If any place the Podmic, which is on here, if any place where the Podmic does fall down, it falls down on deep voices. But for normal people, this is a fantastic, perfect dead center mic. Another fantastic dead center. Oh, I'll give you a couple.
Wait, we're talking if you have just kind of a mid-range voice?
Any voice. These will handle just about any voice. Okay. They will normally, all microphones tend to fall down on deep voices.
Okay.
No microphones tend to fall down on middle or high voices. They just don't. because that's in the standard issue of the range. We are the problematic people, right? when I was in radio, they used to put a drum mic on during my shift because my voice is deeper. I live in Hawaii. Hawaii is basically 87% Asian population. Most of the guys here, smaller people. You know, we had a lot of females in our program. So everybody was using the RE20, Electro Voice RE20, one of the most famous radio mics. But for me, it would just kill the compressor. So they would put in a Sennheiser, 441. It's like a drum mic, and that was my mic during my shift. The engineer would switch it out every shift because he just knew. He knew better. Yeah. So for the most part, a SM7B, the MV7, the Podmic, the NT1A. Do not purchase an NT1. That's a Rode now because it's old. The NT1A sounds much better. They've made some tweaks. And like the AT2020, Audio-Technica 2020, those are all fantastic mics for just about everyone, okay? It's really a matter of what you want to pick for your budget and things like that. Okay. Really, really high-oriented people, yeah, I think that list is fine. I think the deep people are the bigger problem. And so the PR40, really deep, really good for deep mics. The Lewitt 240, Lewitt 440, Lewitt 640, all of those are very good. The Elgato Element Wave or whatever the heck you call that
Wave
thing.
3.
The Wave 3.
Which I've
that
got,
is a Lewitt. Yeah. That is a Lewitt dressed up as Elgato. They just bought it.
Really?
All of these guys, they lie. Okay, for instance, this right here is a Samson Q2U Focus, okay, and it's also the same thing as an ATR 2100, like the Audio-Technica. It's the exact same mic. So guys, they buy mics from each other and label them things, and then people will go on the internet and argue that one sounds better than the other. And I'm like, bruh, they're made in the exact same factory. What are you talking about? So, yeah. I can tell you right now, names that you can trust. Okay, let's just say I'm going in to buy a mic. I know nothing.
Yeah.
If it says AKG, I'll purchase it. If it says Sennheiser, I'll purchase it. If it says Shure, I'll purchase it. If it says Neumann, I'll borrow some money and purchase it. Because nothing better than the Neumann U87, but it ain't cheap. You know, close to $2,000. Those are some of the better, higher mics. Most of the
You
gambles.
didn't include Rode in that.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Rode. I got Rode everything. I can't believe I skipped that one.
Why are we leaving Rode out?
I have so much Rode gear. It's not funny. Yeah. You know, Rode was very good to the consumer market because what they did was they brought in some normalcy so that normal folks could buy stuff that used to be expensive. And that's why the shoddy that you have, being like a $400 shotgun, has a lot of the same characteristics of an $1,800 Sennheiser or the Sony, but it's, you know, they designed it to try to make it so that normal people can get in there. And that's why this at $100 sounds close, not exactly, close to an SM7B at $400.
Okay. So what about AKG?
AKG is bomb. That's an automatic. That's industry standard. Like, that's recording studio level stuff.
Okay. So, but that higher cost, right?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily? Okay.
This is an Akg P220, Perception 220. This was my favorite go-to microphone. I podcasted off this for 12 years. It died. It's the only reason why I got a Podmic, because I love this microphone. This microphone's $129.
Okay.
Right?
Wow.
The 440 version is the same, but it has a condenser this side and that side. And that's when you want to place it in the table and have two people talking left to right of it. But you know what I mean? Bigger problem, honestly, people top address front address mics and they front address top address mics. And I was like, people, like,
let's
look
talk about
inside.
that. So how do you know, how do you determine, and you know, why is it important to what you're saying, the top versus the side? Some people might not understand how mics work from that perspective.
How you can tell is open the manual and look at it. Let's start right there. Like, I'm sorry. I know that sounds goofy, but I'm amazed at how many people buy a $300 microphone, never crack the manual, and then do something crazy like throw phantom power at a mic that doesn't supposed to have phantom power. Most mics nowadays have circuitry in it protect that, but that's a bad move. Like, so in here, it might be hard to see. and I was hoping this light would help, but it's not. If you hold it up to the light, you can see there's a quarter, looks like a quarter inside. That's the element. You want to talk at the face of the quarter.
And if you can't see, like for example,
if you can't see
with this, you can't really see it.
Plug it in, put your headphones in, and then go like this. Hello, microphone. Where should I be? Oh, there it is. Hey, girl. Hey, na. Like, that is a front address.
Are we serenading our mics now?
Yeah. So in theory, this doesn't always hold true, but in theory, if there is a band that holds the mic together, it is meant to be front addressed.
Oh, that's good.
If there is a crown like such, it is meant to be top addressed. Now, that is, I'm going to say, over 80% true, but some designers are dumb. So, but I mean, best place to do is look in the manual, make your face looks like the picture of the person that's on the website using the microphone.
True.
Like, I see people with
that's
their
a good
Yeti.
point.
I see people with their Yeti tilted the complete wrong direction.
Yeah.
Or they have a top address mic and they have it tilted backwards like you're Larry King. You're not talking into a Shure SC55. You're talking into a Yeti. It don't do that. Like, yeah, I'm not going to start calling names because my brother will call them out, though. Because he sends me pictures of every person who's using their mic wrong. He sends me pictures, and then we chortle by ourselves.
And Doc may be giving you a hard time, but if that's you, then that's why you're watching this stream, is to learn about these things, right? There's no guilt in not knowing what you don't know about mics. And they are complicated, well, not complicated, but there's a lot to learn about mics and audio. So I want to kind of
You're so nice. You're so nice. I love you for the fact that you're so nice, because I'm not nice if you didn't read the manual. I'm just sorry. I don't. They're normally like 3 pages long. It's not even like there's a thick book. It's 3 pages. This is how you plug it in. This is how you talk at it. Here's how you clean it. Like, what? Sorry. Thank you, Rob. Thank you. I love you, Rob.
Chortle chums. Okay. June, I think I'm saying your name right. If I call you out, it's because I care. He just wants to see you get the most out of your audio and your mics. So links are in the description.
That's my brother.
Yeah. Oh, that's your brother.
That's my brother. So he's
nice.
like, we used to sell high-end audio gear. So like, he gets it. You know what I mean? We learned it from the same dad. So yeah.
That's awesome. Wow, I feel honored to have you here.
Don't. He's a pain in my butt.
Oh, okay. Younger brother or older?
Younger.
Oh, okay. That's why he's a pain in your butt.
He's wiser though, even though I'm the older one. Because while he was being good, I was out doing things. Let's not talk about that. Next question.
Let's move on. He's like, wait, we shouldn't be talking about this. Colby, so glad that you're here. Okay, so links are into almost everything. He did pull out one mic that's not in the description, but maybe Alyssa is pulling an Alyssa and
this
putting
might
that
might
in
be
there.
hard to get. This one's a little. They replaced it with a newer model. If I can find it, I'll pop it in the chat real quick. But yeah, this is a good mic. It's called the Perception. I think it's called Perception P220 now instead of just P220. I always try to get cute with the name, so that, you know, consumers.
Come on, guys. Okay, so I want to recap that, right? So like, if you have a high voice versus a mid voice versus a low voice, I'm going to read off your list that you gave me, Doc, and just to basically recap this section before we move on into the actual comparison. So if you have a deep voice, you're looking at an SM7B, a Shure MV7, see with these names, a Heil PR 40, or a Podmic. If you have a high voice, SM7B, Shure MV7, Podmic, AT2020, or an NT1A, very specific A. And if you're in the middle like me, you're looking at a SM7B, a Shure MV7, Podmic, AT2020, or a Lewitt 240. So you'll recognize that some of those are in all of the different categories because, like Doc said earlier, some are great for all voice types. There are just a couple of differences in there. And we are going to I'm going to update the description after this is over. We already have all the links in there, but I'm going to break it down for you as well in the description. Anything to add to that?
No, I think that kind of covers the majority of the really good mics. And again, I got to give a credit to my all-time favorite, best bang for the buck, low budget mic. Like, if you got to start somewhere and you don't know what to do, I give up. I quit. Just buy a Samson Q2U or its twin brother, the ATR 2100.
Okay, so that leads us right into the comparison, because that's one of the USB mics that we are going to do a little demo of. Are you set up, or do you need to like unplug and plug back in and everything?
It's set up, but I plugged it in by XLR, but people, it's the same, so don't get it twisted.
True. It has both XLR or USB, this particular one. So can we see it, or?
Yes. This is it, okay? And then I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to put it roughly in the same spot as Podmic. And now I am speaking to you in the Podmic. Let's see. My dear Agnaut, take that mask off. It's not. And here we go. This is basically the exact same microphone. Not sorry. This is the Samson Q2U.
Are you sure you're coming from that one?
There we go.
There we go. That sounds way. I was like, that doesn't sound good at all.
You know, fingers, side eye looking. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So anyway, you know what they say: what doesn't kill you make you stronger. The time for revenge is at hand. Voila, the ZF1. The handle's adjustables for easy carrying, and with good enough for righties and lefties, breaks down into 4 equal parts, undetectable by X-ray, ideal for quick, discreet intervention. On the word, 5
What are you talking about?
Recharge it 3,000 round quick with bursts of 3 to 300, and the replay button, another Zorg invention. It's even easier. One shot, and then each and every shot goes to the same location. Yeah, so this is Podmic, and this is the Q2U. There you go. This is the Q2U by itself, the Samson Q2U. Again, one of the things that makes this microphone so good is kind of based off of a Shure SM58, which they don't have an XLR version. They don't have a USB version, but yeah, it's hard to go wrong with SM58 oriented sort of microphones. Like they're just really good. And what's cool about this one is you can start, USB and upgrade to XLR whenever you get an interface.
That's a really good point, is that you are future-proofing yourself. You're getting something that has both possibilities. But I love this comment. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh while you were talking. Paul said, okay. Can somebody reboot Doc?
No, man, you guys need to watch Fifth Element.
I know. Somebody said it was in Fifth Element. I was like, what is happening right now?
You guys, man, that is nerd canon, folks. Right after Star Wars, there's Fifth Element, nerd canon. Come on.
I'm sorry. I have seen it. I just, anyway, we're going to move on. Just like we're moving on from your brother. And your child passed, what?
Oh, sorry. I thought he might have said something smart. We used to watch that movie every day in the store, so that's why.
Oh, funny.
That was an homage.
Okay, so that mic was the Samson Q2U. So yes. It's an $80 mic, is that right?
It's actually 60. But people have been price gouging, but I mean, come on, it's still under 100.
That's awesome.
In theory, when you find it like at a normal price somewhere, somebody didn't know what it was, it should be like literally $60. And that includes the XLR cable, the USB cable, this weird little stand that I was holding, everything in a pleather bag.
That is fantastic.
Cute little pleather bag. The kit that you see that's $100 will come with a boom arm and a set of headphones.
Yeah. I remember a movie from Title Only. What is happening? I don't know. Sometimes things stick. Okay. So next up in the USB realm, right? That was a USB and an XLR option. Which other one do you have? Do you have the Rode into USB Mini?
No.
You don't have that one.
After the
I don't
Yeti
either, actually.
and Nessie debacle. Yeah, after the Yeti and Nessie debacle, I tried to avoid USB microphones like the plague. Right. And again, not because they're bad. I just know about connection and power. And now I think here's the reason why it's worse now. Okay, we have to use adapters and dongles for everything. There is no USB-A slots, right? So your hub, everything you plug into it starts to draw power. So yeah, that's why I try to skip them.
MV7, the Shure MV7. So I have that one, and you guys, I have to make a
minor adjustment.
Well, a minor adjustment, yes, and a confession. When I moved into this place, I was so determined that I was not going to keep a lot of things. That's why I wear the same shirts every time, because my closet has like almost nothing in it. And same for cables. I got rid of a lot of cables. My XLR cables did not come in time for this. So what we have to do is I have to actually swap this mic out and put it into the Shure, because I could do a USB, but I've already used all my USB slots at the moment. So anyway, I'm going to go on mute while I do this.
You see what I mean, though? If you had to go and put the USB, and then you got to go through things, and yeah. So let's watch. We should make some Jeopardy music while she's doing it. Pew 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 pew. Somebody was asking about another microphone, but yes, guys, I'm glad you found the link to the audio. The AKG P220. It's a very dope mic. I think it's like $120. So you're in there.
Now, obviously, this mic we wouldn't have directly in front of me. It would be kind of away from me on a boom arm, somewhere around this, or a little further back. I'm struggling with space here. Look at me. I have like no space left. But so you can hear it if it were right up to me. That's how it's supposed to be. Good. Yeah,
it's called mic technique. It's supposed to be, and no one wants to do that because one of our contemporaries told them not to do it. But like, watch actual people who do actual interviews with mics. That's what they do, because why? It sounds good. It's not a vanity thing. We're going for sound. No one cares what you look like.
I care what I look like. No, come on, I'm a girl. No, actually, that was a sexist comment, but no, because that's not true.
It's not sexist if you say it. That's like I say, men don't read manuals. It's true when men says it. It's a fighting word when Karen says it.
So yes, this is what's called eating the mic, as Colby correctly says. You're right up on it, right? And if I come back from it, you can hear it's actually very soft and it's kind of low. And keep in mind, this is the audio straight out of it. I haven't made any adjustments. You're comparing the Rode. Oh, what I was using before is the Rode NT4 Plus, NTG4 Plus, and now you can see the difference. So, what say you between these two? Preference?
The only thing I would tell you to do is to take the top and tilt it at the bottom of your chin just a little bit more. And the reason for that is that the chin tilt is going to, like, so you notice I talk with the mic here and not directly at, and that's to avoid, so I can Peter Piper Pick Peppers, and I'm not Peter Piper Pick Peppers, you see?
Peter Piper Peppers.
Yeah, so that's how I control plosives, by talking into my chin. And again, though, the mic technique is huge. There's a huge difference between talking from here and talking from here. Like, you just lose all of that bottom, all of that compression. Now, you can pick some of that up with compression and things like that, but that's mic technique, and that's a whole different show. Like, we'll have to do that. But yeah, that's a key element, and you prove positive why you want the microphone right here and not all the way over there. It's just a whole different conversation. Yeah, because then what people do in order to get that level is they turn the volume up. And by turning the volume up, now I'm introducing room noise that wasn't there.
Yeah, totally.
There you go. So
that mic technique is a different video we should totally harp on. And so Hot Metal Vet says, what's a manual? By the way, all of your questions are coming, and I'm having to stand on my tippy toes, so I've got bad framing because my mic stand right now can't be lowered. And this is just a regular, desk mount.
I find it funny that you're standing on your tippy toes. It's kind of hilarious.
Because obviously I'm not set up for like properly mounting it right now because we're testing. We're putting everything in and out, right?
Yes. So one thing to know is good about that microphone you have right there, the software that comes with it when connected via USB and things like that will allow people to do what I mentioned and add some of that compression and some of that mic sweetening, similar to what you just grabbed in your hand as well. So when they're in USB form, it allows you to add some software that do some adjusting. When you're not in USB form, something like the Rodecaster Pro, you would just press that pressure channel that you have it in, and then go and turn on all the audio processing, and then that will give it that little whoa, je ne sais quoi. But yeah,
I do find it fascinating that there's like a.
we can hear you a little bit.
It's like a touch of volume control. I like that.
Yeah, it's dope. So that microphone sounds pretty close to the SM7B. The primary difference is in the body cavity of the SM7B has deadening things in it in order to give it that little bit of extra boomph. But I would put that microphone is like taking a stock, high-end luxury Camry, and then the SM7B would be the Lexus version of it, where they're primarily the same, a lot of the same lineage, but those extra little tweaks that move it ride and that good GPS and the CarPlay and leather seats and warm your butt seats, all of that. That's basically the difference. So it's a fantastic mic. I would highly recommend that right now.
This one. And
yes.
And yeah, so it's USB and XLR. So like the other one that he mentioned, you can upgrade over time to something like the Rodecaster Pro. But let's talk about the Elgato Wave 3. So why don't you talk about this one while I actually I don't have to swap out cables because it's already connected. So we're going to hold on. Get this in kind of the same position.
So the thing that is really cool about the Elgato Wave 3 is, first of all, even though the cavity looks a little different, the body, it is basically a Lewitt 240C hiding in there. So it's a very good mic lineage. What they've added, though, with their software is that virtual mixer that comes with it. You could do some fantastic things. Like it actually has loopback built in. It has a bunch of things that you can do with compression and noise gates and things of that nature. So you can give that microphone a lot. Like Grove Made. Must be in Portland now when you buy Grove Made stuff.
Well, no, the Grove Made came to me free when I was Callie Lewis.
Oh, okay.
That was a review product. And I love this thing so
Portland,
much.
That's why.
Oh, are they? I didn't know that actually.
There's a really dope store near Powell. It's one block over from Powell. I'll tell you the name of it. But they have similar type stuff, handmade, everything.
Oh,
it's
nice.
It's like a made in Portland store. And every time I go there, I spend like a couple $100. It's kind of
I actually use this, and you can hear I'm talking through this mic, by the way, but I use this to prop up all kinds of things. My computer, my mics, whatever I need.
See how good that sounds? Do you hear how, maybe you can't hear because you're not listening to yourself.
Well, I am listening to myself, but I'm not really hearing. Yeah, I'm not really hearing it.
It has a nice pop to it. And again, I believe it's the software and stuff that goes in with it. It's kind of hard to tell that one to dumb down because some of it's built in, some of it's in the body. And you can, whenever you make those settings in the software, it's adjusting the settings in the body. And so now, even if you close that software, the settings stick.
Okay.
So that's why that's a fantastic mic. And they're cheap now. Now, there's two versions. There's a Wave 1 and there's a Wave 3. One's 99 and one's like 150, if I remember correctly. Sorry, that's my random words, 150. I forget which is which. Let me check. You know what that is?
Wait, hold on. Sorry, I went to a different.
I heard you. I heard
okay,
exactly
now
what
you heard
said.
me, but they didn't hear me. I had my scene muted on this particular one.
Yeah, so the reason why that is, though, go ahead and say what you say because they didn't hear it. I forgot.
I was just going to say, so it's interesting that you guys are saying you really like this one because when I had this in my production before, you didn't like it as much as other mics I was using, like the Rode NTG4 Plus. So are y'all saying, community effort here, y'all saying you like this one better than that one? That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
You do?
That sounds way better than the Shoddy. And what it is it's not a clarity thing, more or less. It's fullness. You have so much fullness happening right now that it's
I like fullness.
Oh, yeah, it's fullness.
Hello.
Yeah, it's dope.
So then on this particular thing, because it's on my desk and I would hit it, I would actually have to mount it some way. And the reason I like this mount is because it's simple and it's not adding a whole big boom mic to me. So I'm going to get creative and maybe play around with that.
You know how you can do it? Because you need a riser anyway. A floral foam.
Floral foam.
HDPE foam. Like when you get a bouquet, whatever, and then the inside.
Oh
there's that fake,
yeah.
So
Alyssa just got me flowers for my birthday. Thank you, Alyssa, by the way. And there was foam in there. I was like, what is this? I don't get flowers very often.
Thick, high density foam that doesn't, squish too much.
Okay.
Put it on there. Even like yoga mats where cut up yoga mat. Boom.
Oh,
Perfect.
I have. Yeah. There we go.
It eats the vibration, and then you don't have to, go too nuts with it. Oh, that brick that they use in yoga that you're supposed to make you hit the right poses. Same smell. That'll work.
True.
Yeah. So those are, it's funny because I have seen people with the Yeti put in those yoga bricks, but those are good because they will absorb that vibration, but give you some height, and then you won't really hear the table bangs.
True.
So yeah.
Thank you so much for the super sticker, Einar. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's true. The Wave does have an adapter in the box for a mic arm. So yeah, we'll get creative with that. But anyway, so those are. Let's see. You have other mics, don't you? Oh wait, where's my 2020? Oh, I also have another mic. You go over your mic, and then I'm gonna get set up for my next mic.
All right, so I'm gonna bring in this condenser right here, and this is a King B. Wait, stop rolling over the cord, Doc. Ah! I'm stuck. Okay. All right, I got stuck on headphone cord. All right, so I'm going to bring in the King B. This is what you guys used to always hear me stream from, but it's going to have that bass. Okay, here we go. This is the King B, and as you can tell, in a land, there once was a lady that taught the world how to stream. In that tension of the world, can she save the world by herself? Can she make sure people stop streaming with crappy software? Can she teach people how to become the streamers they want to be? Boom, welcome. But you see, you can hear the room noise. It's way more sensitive. I actually have this thing turned down a lot. It's about 3 levels down, but it is just boom. It has a lot of, so you can hear the excess noise the noise sound around it, but it sounds amazing. And this is my King B. We can sing. What's a good song we should sing? I can't even think of a song to sing. Anyway, so yeah, this is back to the standard issue Podmic, and this is my King B condenser, and it's boomy, it's loud. Wow, it injects a lot of noise. Now that I hear it, it injects a lot of noise. And again, that's because condensers are like way more sensitive. So, it is a fantastic microphone. The guys who invented that microphone actually invented the original Yeti when it was blue. They were the engineers at Blue, and then after Logitech kept making them look bad, they quit and started Neat, and that's why Neat came out, because they wanted to create inexpensive mics for people to use and not have to use crappy equipment to do there. Yeah, but it sounds good. And it looks good. If you like bees.
If you like, whoa. Wow, that's a different sound.
Yeah, that's your NT1?
This is the AT2020.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So I don't like this one, actually. For my voice. It's a good mic, but it's $100, which is why I wanted to demo it, because it is a cheaper XLR mic. But what do you think about the sound?
AT2020 is good, but because of its sensitivity, it needs a pop filter or something in order, because it picks up every single mouth sound, and that's why nobody likes it.
Yeah.
But if you have
I hear
a pop
that,
filter,
I'm like, whoa.
Or if you have the ability after the fact to put on a thing like Nectar, where you can, calm down those mouth sounds. Like I have a little throat thing that I do because I had surgery to remove my hanging down thing.
Oh, tonsils?
And then, no, not tonsils.
Oh.
It's the
the flap. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
The uvula. I was gonna say something worse. I just call it the hanging down thing. So yeah. So it's a very good mic. It's extremely sensitive, but it does pick up all those noise. Now, if you are into the high gain, listen to the sounds. of Doc ASMR channel. That sounds so horrible.
This would be good for ASMR.
There you go. I need a plastic bag to like wrinkle, and then a toothbrush, and then some other stuff. And yeah, that microphone is very, very good for that.
So for ASMR, okay. So if you're doing an ASMR channel, everyone, the AT2020, there you go. Oh, that's hilarious.
I normally have bubble wrap around, but I can.
Oh, I actually probably have some by the door. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my BTS screen and mute myself because I'm going to swap this out and go back to the Elgato. How about that? I'm going to go back to the Elgato.
So, the funny thing is, it's cool to demo these people because it gives you a generalized sound, but honestly, you're not going to know until you hear it in your place with your like interface, with your room noise, and all of the above. Like, there's so many factors to this, it's kind of obnoxious. It's similar to, people will say, well, I like this car better than that car. You know what? It might just come down to how you fit in them seats. It might have nothing to do with the rest of the technology, because I swore up and down for decades I would never buy something. I'm sorry, anybody, don't get mad. I would never buy a crappy Subaru. There's no way in heck, blah, 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 blah. I was in Japan last year, and I go to rent a car, and what did they give me? The equivalent of a Subaru Forester all-wheel drive, but it was dope. And I was driving this thing. I was like, I can't believe how good this car is, all-wheel drive, and it's snowing in the mountains. I'm driving through Hokkaido in the snow, and I'm just like Arnold Schwarzenegger from The Whipping. I was like, and that thing just handles. And I was like, bruh, I could drive rally in this thing. And then, I started looking at pictures of it. Turns out it's a rally car, so it was fun. I never had so much fun with a car I thought I would never buy. Is it the same as Beamer? No. But is it dope? Yeah. So, yeah, sometimes you can't tell till you actually have it and you play with it. Unfortunately, microphones, you kind of got to buy it, try it, and pick a place like Amazon where you can give it back if you don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa. That doesn't, whoa. Oh. Sorry, I had the wrong.
That was your iMac, right?
No, that was the AT2020 over there. Still is, isn't it?
No, you're good now.
Am I?
You sound yeah.
Because I don't sound good in my ears.
It's
coming from here? No.
Yeah.
Is it? It does not sound like that to me in my ears right now.
Scrub the foil.
What does that one mean?
This.
Yeah, that's what I did. It's not coming through it. Is it?
Yeah. Ow! Stop that.
Okay, weird. I'm just going to turn that down a little. Okay, so sounds great. That's so weird. Why am I getting...
Somebody's swearing at me in the chat.
Who's swearing at Doc? Come on.
I'm joking. They said if I was a vMix user.
Oh.
No.
You guys.
Fighting words.
This is driving me insane. You guys, those of you who are vMix users, I do have, if you're in Streamer Accelerator, we have Tim from vMix coming on for a Ninja Tricks training and Q&A. So if you're in Streamer Accelerator, look forward to that very soon. And I noticed somebody else was asking me, I keep having all the different scenes. I keep having to make sure I'm on the right mic. I noticed somebody was asking me why I'm not using vMix today, because I don't know if you know this, Doc, but I am actually putting vMix and Ecamm into my production so I can swap back and forth.
I did know that.
Yeah. But I still have to shoot some Ecamm specific videos, so I'm waiting to get that into my production. Anyway, that was totally random.
But to what is it? I can't read what it says. To Brew Fafu, I think that's what it is. His point, whatever. Oh, to Bruce. Okay, there you go. To Bruce's point. Yeah, that's dope. And something that I have been bugging the twins about forever, but we're trying to make sure that we don't scare muggles. So they haven't put anything like VST or AU plugins into Ecamm yet. However, if you are an Ecamm user, you can cheat, and I'm working on a video to show you how to cheat using a combination of audio hijack and loopback, which would allow you to put your noise gates and all of that stuff in. Like I have a Rodecaster Pro, it's built in now. When I wasn't using the Rodecaster Pro, when I was using the Evo, I used to use hijack to put my VST plugins in. And honestly, for me, it's not even about the sound. I prefer true meters because coming from audio background, I like to see an actual meter that tells me stuff. Like I can't stand the meters on my Sony camera that if you look in the screen, because it doesn't have numbers, you got to guess that you're at 80. The meters in Ecamm, you can see the number says 80, but it's kind of hard to see. It's really tiny. I'm old. I like actual meters with real VU numbers, like loudness at full scale. I want to know that I am hitting -16 LUFS at all times. And unfortunately, pretty much nothing does that except vMix and OBS.
And so this audio is not coming from this. There's some kind of room noise coming, but this is off.
It is
oh
the
no,
ghost
I am
of
hearing
Gloria
it.
Path.
How am I hearing that? Testing 1 2. There we go. Okay.
She's haunting herself.
That is really weird. Okay, that was just in my ear. That's why. Okay, that's why y'all weren't complaining. I was like, what is going on? How do you not hear that? I've got all the audios and all the things going on and all the monitoring. Okay, so real quick question. We have a ton of questions. Do you have time to stick around, Doc? But to answer a few more questions, we'll go till like 11:30.
I can make my stream late for you guys.
No. Are you late already?
No, it doesn't matter. I told everybody that I was going to do this first, and they could just come after. And it's like, cool.
Oh no, we'll get you. What time? When do I need to let you go?
No, don't worry. I changed it already. It was just, my stream was at an hour ago. Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. I stream a lot, so it's good.
Okay.
And they're all here anyway. So
then we will raid you after that. After this, we will all go watch your stream after this is over. So you guys clear your schedules for the next hour. So we're gonna finish up a few questions and then we're gonna go raid Docs. I use that term because Twitch uses that, and it's a really effective way to share audiences and have more fun and be a community. So if you're watching the replay, then you missed out on the Q&A, but you can join us live by checking the schedule in the About section on this channel. And we're going to move right into Q&A, but thank you so much for coming. You can follow Doc Rock at youtube.com/DocRock, where he'll be live also. And he does lots of videos. So thank you, Doc, for hanging out.
Rob is teasing me saying that